Let's say you're on a date with your friends, or not on a date, you're at a club with your friends, and there's a man, and the man is like stood other end of the bar, and he's looking at you, and he doesn't say a damn thing, but you just see this man constantly looking at you for like 10 to 15 minutes. Would you find that to be creepy?
Yes.
Very creepy,
Yeah.
right? This video is all about sexual escalation, but what is that? Sexual escalation is essentially the act of going from being in a completely platonic conversation to actually having sex. But we as men, something that we all know is, if we don't do anything, there will be no sex and you're gonna be friend zoned. And if you do it the wrong way, you're gonna be and accused of and God only knows what. So how the hell do you actually lead a woman through the act of escalating into sex in a way that makes her not just accepting, but actually damn glad that you did it? First thing that I want to say is this. We as men, we are like sexual on-off switches, and women are not. What do I mean? So as men, we just like, we're turned on or we're not, we're turned on, we're not, on, off, on, off, on, off. So we see a naked woman and we're turned on and that's it. Yeah, we're ready to go, yeah. With women, that's not really the case. So women are more like a light with a dimmer switch. And effectively, if you imagine the light is off, right? She's not aroused at all. Turn it slowly, 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 and the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter until it reaches a crescendo. That's women. And the point is that in order to escalate effectively, you need to be aware of the need for that progression. The exact 0 on the scale is, hello, and now we are speaking about dividends and stocks and shares at Barclays Bank. That's like the exact opposite. Everything else is in the middle. So what would be like a 1 or a 2? Maybe a bit of flirting, a bit of eye contact, innuendo. What would be a 3 or a 4? Maybe your hand touches her hand. Maybe then you start to like kiss. Maybe hands move to intimate parts of the body, like arms, legs, breasts, etc. It moves and it moves and it gradually builds and it gradually reaches the crescendo. Don't jump from 0 to 100. Make it a journey, make it a story. A place where men go wrong is that they try to jump too far, too fast. And the thing is that you can't jump further than the woman you're speaking to is comfortable with. And for those of you who are saying, okay, I don't really know how to move through these stages, I don't know what they are, you actually do. And let me explain what I mean. In order to know how to escalate effectively, all you need to ask yourself is this. What acts would I be embarrassed if my mum saw me performing? Okay, so for instance, if your mum saw you flirting with a girl, how embarrassed would you be? Yeah, maybe slight, right? If your mum saw you kissing a girl, how embarrassed would you be? Yeah, kind of embarrassed. So if your mum saw you with your hand on a girl's butt, how embarrassed would you be? The point is that all of the various things which are like socially taboo to varying degrees, you would just kind of move through them. But here's the thing, and here's another thing to say. You move through these areas, these regions, these stages of sexual intensity, but you must be aware of how she's feeling. So if the woman you're talking to at any time doesn't seem to be comfortable with what you're doing, stop immediately and go back to the last thing that she was comfortable with. Because the woman that they're engaging with, she gives them some kind of signal that she's not comfortable. They don't see that signal. They keep going. The woman feels like she's been disrespected or taken advantage of, whatever. And then eventually the guy is being accused of be aware. So now you might say, okay, but I don't know if she's aware. I don't know if she wants me to touch her. How do I know? How would you know? How else would you know? There you go. All right, Antonio is laughing because that is a little joke that we share. Anyway, yeah, so how would you know? Well, here's the thing. It's like, how is she responding? Is she seizing up? When you touched her, did she seize up and get uncomfortable? Or did she lean into your touch? You know, is she backing away? Does her body feel comfortable? Does she feel relaxed? Or does she feel like she's actually very hyper aware of what's going on and almost on edge. Be aware, because most women aren't actually going to tell you that they don't like what you're doing. Like, the brave ones will, the really confident ones will, but most of them actually won't. But just be aware. If you really pay attention, you can see. Like, when I touched her, did her eyes dilate and did she sigh? Did she go, ah? Or was it like the exact opposite and, you know what I mean? Like, she kind of backed away. You can kind of tell. Pay real attention to how she's responding to things that you're doing. That's one thing. Now, here's another thing as well. Here's another thing. Sex begins the moment the man and the woman lay eyes on each other. And that's very true. That's very true. Everything that happens the moment you and her start communicating is a build-up to this sexual act. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, you're on the date, right? What is the vibe of the date? Is it a romantic vibe? Is it a flirtatious vibe? That vibe needs to come across well before there's any kind of pumping away and thrusting. But then you would then say, well, how do I create that vibe? It's actually not very tough. In order to create that vibe, all you need to do is let out the things that you've been withholding for your whole adult life. For instance, you're on a date with this woman, you're attracted to her, right? And you're like, whoa, she's hot, she's this, she's that. I love her vibe, I'm feeling aroused, right? What you need to do is let that out. However, you need to let it out in a confident way, not a creepy way. Now, let me explain what creepiness is, because most of you who are watching this probably don't know. Creepiness is effectively when a woman feels sexually insecure, okay? So let me explain what I mean. Group of girls are on a night out and they're partying and they're having loads of fun. And one of them notices that there's a man, and this man is staring at her. He's staring at her and she does not know what the fuck he's thinking. He's just looking at her, and he's been looking for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He's just there sipping his drink and staring. She's gonna find that man creepy. Actually, Antonio, let's say you're on a date with your friends, or not on a date, you're at a club with your friends, and there's a man, and the man is like stood other end of the bar, and he's looking at you, and he doesn't say a damn thing, but you just see this man constantly looking at you for like 10 to 15 minutes. Would you find that to be creepy?
Yes.
Very creepy,
yes.
Right? All right, here we go. But the thing is, that man is most likely just scared. Mm-hmm. That's why he's standing. He wants to come over and say hello, but he doesn't actually have the confidence to do it. It's actually, that creepiness is his fear. In his mind, he's like, come on, you can do it, you can do it. Don't be a loser, don't be a loser. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. But to you, he's creepy.
Yeah.
Now, you told me the story of a friend of ours who approached you in a bar, and he just immediately walked over and he was really open and expressive with it. Mm-hmm. And you really liked the way he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't creepy at all.
No.
No. So this is what I mean. Okay, you're done now. So you can go back now. Creepiness is when a woman feels sexually insecure. So you need to let out what you're feeling. Okay, let it out. But there needs to be like confidence behind it. So if you are insecure about what you feel, and when I say what you feel, I mean like your sexual attraction to this woman. If you're insecure about that, then that's going to be very off-putting for her, and she's not going to like it in any way, shape or form. You need to have confidence in your desire for her and what you feel for her. That is very, 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 very attractive. So ways that you can convey that, let's say like eye contact, right? You're looking at her. You see the way I'm looking now into the camera? You're looking at her like this. And there's a little bit of a twinkle in your eye, because it's like, I'm a man, you're a woman, and things could happen. You would love these things if they were to happen. If they were to occur, you'd absolutely love it. But guess what? If these things that could happen, that you would love if they happened, if they don't happen, I'm cool with that. I don't care any way, shape or form, but you'd love it. And there's a little bit of a twinkle, things like that. Vocal tonality. Speaking maybe with a deeper tonality, that helps. Maybe like wonder with your eyes. So while you're talking to her, your eyes kind of scan from her eyes to her lips, down to her neck, and things like that. Loads of little things that you can do. So there we go. And with that, I conclude today's video. So, thank you for your time. Take care, see you later, goodbye, and au revoir.